Good afternoon. I'm David Belshaw. I'm one of the heads of project management for Rolce Royce. Effectively, I run one of the biggest PMOs in the company. So we look after a portfolio which is measured in billions of pounds, and we cover projects that start from R&T. We do a lot of kind of NPI, new product introduction, into kind of manufacturing and in service. So we cover the full breadth of kind of the project life cycle. So I have a PMO of about 20 people, and we look after a function of about 450. So that kind of give you a bit of a size of the kind of PMO that I look after. So this afternoon, I really want to give you an insight into kind of my perspective as like a head of PMO around project analytics. Okay, so why am I interested? So I am really passionate about building project management capability in my business. I'm also a self-confessed kind of project controls geek, so I find this stuff absolutely fascinating and really interesting. So why am I interested? So I talked a bit about my personal interest, and I really do think project analytics will massively change the capability and lead us to a really big change in performance in project management and particularly PMO. And then from a business perspective, as a company, we need to spend more time making the boat go faster, spending more time changing the outcomes. So better on-time delivery, better cost performance, enhanced quality. And we're really focused as a company of improving that. We also have quite a high reporting burden. So there's a lot of time kind of feeding the machine. We also have people spend a lot of time doing like data wrangling. So getting data ready, combining different data to create reports, and not enough problem solving, people actually changing the outcomes. We also have a really high demand for PM staff and a really high demand for PM specialists. And in the last couple of years since COVID, we've seen our productivity plateau. Part of that might be because we've introduced a number of new starters, and we're talking hundreds as our business has grown, but we need to be more productive. Right, so I'm all in. I'm all sold into it. So for a moment, I want us to imagine we've got this huge challenge. So imagine if a large group of companies
Fucking hell.
started working together. We've got.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, good.
That's fine. Thank you. And we armed more of our people with this project analytics capability. If you click on, there's a couple of animations, not many. And we work against one plan, pooling our efforts, making the best use of all our talent and skills. So we've got some companies that are really good at kind of planning and scheduling, other companies that already have good change systems. And actually, we all shared that work that we do together for the benefit of all. I personally think we will make a huge impact across the whole profession. And that's exactly what effectively I am doing. So we're going to launch a coalition of like-minded companies that are going to go after this together and do exactly what I've kind of put on the slide there. So I'm really, really excited about that because I do think we'll make a huge change in the way that PMs, PMOs, and kind of project teams operate. And I think that'll lead to a number of benefits. So if you go to the next slide, please. So I mentioned some of these already, and I won't go through them. But in terms of some of the benefits, I think we'll see. So in terms of data quality, we've got a kind of mixed bag in my company. We've got some teams with really great data quality and others that are not so good. But if we can move to more workflows, we can start to validate data at source. So we don't put garbage into our systems and we won't get garbage out. I think that will be a really big benefit for us. We also have quite a high cost of our assurance activity. So I've got some absolutely great SMEs, but I've only got a few of them. And taking them off supporting the business to do assurance is quite a high cost. And some of our assurance can be quite low quality. Have you filled out a template? Have you done this step correctly? Whereas actually using project analytics, we can do a lot of that automatically and actually focus on really working out how effective our systems are, not just how well we filled something out or completed a task. We've had to onboard lots of new people in Rolce Royce, and that again comes at quite a cost. There's a lot of time to upskill people. We put a lot of time into people development, and that's great. However, the industry is kind of booming for PM. So actually we need to do more and more. And if we keep using the same methods, we find we won't be able to do it fast enough. So I think really with the rise of stuff like AI and chatbots, we'll be able to upskill people with minimal effort. Um, and part of that is I think we'll see the rise of kind of PMO or kind of super user bots. So a lot of my SMEs, again, really capable people, but they can get tied down in answering questions, which can sometimes be quite trivial. Where can I find this? How can I do that? That's not a great use of their time. So again, I imagine we will have a chatbot which will be able to answer a lot of those queries, available all hours, satisfying multiple people on a function all at once. So I find that quite amazing to think about. I think as well, we'll see a lot of cost savings. So we're actually working something now around how we do schedule health, and that's been through one of our apprentices on the project analytics apprenticeship now around how we can get schedule health to the masses. Um, Obviously, the cost of some of the software use is quite high, and I think as we move to kind of community development, kind of apps and other things, we can kind of lower those costs and focus our kind of resources on the tools that we really need, some of the niche tools. And I guess as part of all of this, automation frees people up. So I think, again, we'll go to higher value adding work, more work focused on changing the outcomes. And one thing one of my mentors said to me is they measure how good a PMO is with one simple question: how strategic is the PMO? How much does the executive of the company rely on the PMO? And I think with the enablement of project analytics, that will make my PMO even more strategic and other PMOs more strategic, which I think is a really good thing for PMOs. So I've kind of put my strap line at the bottom. So I think the benefits for myself and for Rolce Royce is that, we'll have better project delivery. We'll spend less time doing the kind of transaction, more time changing outcomes. And as a PMO, I think we'll be more efficient, more effective, and better valued in the company, which is a great thing. So yeah, some really key benefits. Next slide, please. And if you can do 2 clicks, thank you. So what I've tried to think about now is how I think kind of the strategy of the PMO and the key aspects of the PMO will change. So I won't go through all of these, and there's quite a lot on this slide, but from a PMO perspective, I generally think that we'll see 2 types of PMO emerge. We'll see those that are really capable around project analytics, and I think we'll see those that aren't. And I think we'll see those diverge quite considerably in the kind of next couple of years. I think a lot of the functions of some of our PMOs that are supportive or controlling around like checking process completion, checking tasks will also be automated. And as I said, I think PMOs with that data analytics capability will have more C-suite kind of influence. And the other thing, even this week, so you'll have seen that PMI released their own kind of AI bot, PMI Infinity. I think our relationship with the professional bodies will change quite considerably. So obviously it's still quite early days, but that interaction of going on to a kind of professional body's website, looking at their reference documentation, looking at their blogs, I think will really change. And obviously PMI are kind of leading the way on how that will change. And I also think some of the certifications that some of those bodies offer will also change. So the need to have someone be able to remember lots of information is going to change quite considerably if they can use a chatbot to tell them quite quickly. So I think again that will change, and yeah, it'll be really interesting. And then from a people perspective, I think as well we'll see the kind of organizational design of PMOs change. So we've got different teams in my organization. So we've got the PMO, so we're a center of excellence. We've got project controls teams that offer a lot of data and reporting to our programs, and obviously we've got project delivery. I think the boundaries of those teams will change, and actually some of those roles won't exist and some new ones will exist. So I think again that'll be quite profound. And I think again the way we learn will change quite a bit as well. So I think we can enable people to kind of learn as they do. So imagine filling out a business case and your bot is then telling you how to do something. You don't need to go onto a course. You can start to do tasks and obviously get guided through them based on good practice from your own company, best practice from elsewhere, etc. So I think that will change. And one example where I used AI with my learning was last year I did my certified Scrum Master course. And actually, I was trying to prepare and revise for the exam. And I actually asked ChatGPT to test my knowledge, and it was amazing. So it gave me examples from the Scrum Guide. It looked at my answers, it critiqued them. It said you could do better here, or you missed a point, or it confirmed it with a really good statement. So again, that's like you can do that now, and it's amazing. If you can click on a few more for me, Martin. So that's kind of PMO and people capability. Talked a little bit about process and workflows. And I've talked a little bit how I think assurance will change, but I also think like our real-time understanding with project progress will change. And I think we'll be able to present ourselves through the use of data analytics with different scenarios based on different optimization goals. So for example, if you want to bring in your project timescales, do this. If you want to do the cheapest possible cost, do these options. Or if you've got some critical resource that you want to protect the time of, do these options. So again, I think that'll again totally change the game in project delivery. And also in tools and systems, I've talked a few of these things already, but I think we will be we'll have a more holistic focus on using our data. So often we have to compromise around our process or potentially our reporting via the tools that we use. I think we'll totally change that and turn it upside down. So we'll be kind of data focused. And I think that will make us even more effective. I think as well with the rise of like the model driven apps where we can make some more bespoke functions, that will actually allow PMOs to be more agile. So they'll have the freedom to be able to amend processes, workflows, reports, interactions more easily and adapt to their needs, which again I see is really powerful.